Cody Rhodes is trolling the internet wrestling community, and it is absolutely funny. Also, we have a huge update on Mustafa Ali and Jeff Hardy. So if you guys want more wrestling news videos, I bring you guys my opinions to everything that's happening in wrestling. My name is Ango. Make sure you guys subscribe for more. So we're actually kicking things off with Jeff Hardy. If you guys are unaware, Jeff Hardy was offered by WWE to come back to WWE and also be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Well, with that being said, I talked about this in the previous video. Jeff Hardy declined it. It's not happening. And obviously, WWE is trying to keep him away from AEW. Now, what's really interesting is we got some news from Wrestling Observer Radio, and Dave Meltzer was discussing this situation and gave his input. And I really want to talk about this for a moment. So Dave Meltzer says, there's discussions through different people and you could pass messages. But as far as Tony Khan directly talking, every situation is different. I'm not saying he never talks to anyone from another organization or anything like that. I don't know what he does and doesn't do. But I do know from certain people that he avoided talking to certain people that are top people until the legally right day. So for those who believe that Jeff Hardy is currently having conversations with AEW, that doesn't necessarily seem to be accurate. And for some reason, there seems to be this narrative on YouTube that people are pushing out, you know, Jeff Hardy is signing with AEW and whatnot. Now, granted, yes, Jeff has a brother who works there, and I'm sure he could pass messages along and stuff like that. I think deep down inside, it's inevitable that AEW would, in fact, bring in the Hardy Boys together as a tag team, as a unit. But I do feel like that it is important to mention that, like, for those who think this is a locked thing, like, it's not. And technically, while yes, Jeff Hardy did reject WWE the first time, there is still that possibility that maybe Jeff Hardy does, in fact, you know, decide to go back to WWE. Do I think it's likely? No, he already declined them. But is it possible? Absolutely. And you got to keep in mind, Jeff Hardy is he signed, he's technically, you know, in his non-compete clause. So that ends, I believe, in March. End of March, which then would allow Jeff Hardy to go move on and sign and have conversations with any organization. Now, I know everybody is excited about the idea of Jeff Hardy going to AEW, and that's completely fine. But I'm very curious to see what that looks like. And obviously, being a tag team, it would make the most sense. Today, Mustafa Ali tweeted something very interesting. And of course, it just goes to show you that Twitter sometimes, man, it's a very wild place. So as you guys know, Mustafa Ali requested his release, and now he has tweeted out, "No, I would not like to be in the Rumble. I would like my release." And I want to talk about this for a couple different reasons. So as you guys know, Fightful Select actually dropped the news before that Mustafa Ali and WWE had spoken. He got into arguments with Vince McMahon, and that WWE would not grant his release. And now he is continuing to fight this on social media. There has been this belief that WWE actually wants to use Mustafa Ali and that they have plans for Mustafa Ali. But at this point, Mustafa Ali does not want to do anything with WWE. I don't know how to feel about this, because I feel like if you're requesting your release because you're trying to leave, you have something that is bigger than pro wrestling, a dream, a message that is far larger, and this company is willing to give you a platform. I mean, shouldn't you entertain that conversation? That's the thing I have an issue with here, because I understand that you want your release, but at the end of the day, you sign this contract, and, you know, it's one of those things where I believe WWE should release Mustafa Ali. But when I see that WWE wants to use Mustafa Ali, is there a possibility that you can work together to come to some sort of agreement? Or is your mind completely made up? Because if your mind is completely made up, I understand. I get that. But I think sometimes people look at this stuff from a perspective of like, he's not happy there. Get rid of him. Without giving the opportunity for WWE to fix that. And I find that strange. And the reason why I find that strange, it's very similar to what I have felt in the past with AEW. Nobody knows what happened to Kylie Ray and AEW, but in the beginning of the company, she was released. Nobody knew what was going on. And the reason why I bring this up is because there was so much talk online that there was issues there. But she wanted to be released, and then they decided to release her. In my opinion, if you're AEW or WWE and somebody wants to leave your company, I feel like you should be able to come to a middle ground. Just food for thought. Guys, this image right here is absolutely hilarious. This is the image that Cody Rhodes posted on Instagram, absolutely trolling the fans, the internet wrestling community, because as you guys know, Royal Rumble is in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, what's very interesting is if you actually Google, if you use Google, you could find this image on there. But Cody Rhodes is trolling everybody. And do I actually believe Cody Rhodes is going to be in the Royal Rumble? No. Have I said in the past that I don't believe he's going to be in the Royal Rumble? Yes, I said he's not going to be in the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes trolling the wrestling community is absolutely hilarious because he knows what he's doing. And it's so strange to me that people actually don't like Cody Rhodes and people don't think this guy's good. He's not great for AEW and whatnot. Personally speaking, I think this is like one of the best things that you can do if you're Cody Rhodes. But also at the same time too, man, I just want to take a minute and discuss how insane it would actually be if Cody Rhodes wasn't trolling and Cody Rhodes actually showed up in the Royal Rumble. I mean, it's just, to me, that's the biggest thing. You know, it's like WWE opening the forbidden door with Impact is cool. But what if AEW and WWE were legitimately working with each other here? That's how, I mean, look, that to me is like the big thing here. Like, what if it was actually happening? And for the most part, you got to keep in mind, too, with this image, like, if you literally Google it, you can find this image. But I just want people to be very clear that, like, Cody Rhodes, 99.9% is not going to be in the Royal Rumble. And you never know. Like, it could technically happen. So the thing is, if Cody Rhodes is trolling the internet wrestling community for this, there is some sort of big plan that Cody has with the evolution of this character, this storyline of him not being signed to AEW and being a free agent. It's a very interesting dynamic, and I don't know how to explain it, but there's something very interesting there. Guys, I want to know what you think in the comment section down below. My name is Ango. I bring you my reactions to the latest in pro wrestling. And look, I'm very excited about everything that's happening in Royal Rumble. I'm going to kind of stay away from the spoilers. I know of a couple things that are happening, possibly happening, and completely not happening. I want to enjoy the pay-per-view. I want you guys to enjoy it as well. But for those who actually believe that Cody Rhodes is in St. Louis, look, I've seen crazy things in wrestling, but right now he's trolling you, and that's it. So just trying to stop you guys from getting your hopes up. Anyways, I want you guys to tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget, we got the Discord server in the description, as well as our channel memberships if you guys want to support the channel. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Peace.